Ah, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to this Monday. Hope your day is starting well. Your week is starting well. Good morning. This is a chance to share some gratitude and connect and recognize and remember that we're not alone. We're surrounded by like-minded, open-hearted people, and there is millions and millions of people who would like to be more open-hearted and are just waiting for the opportunity, waiting for someone to extend an olive branch, to show kindness, to not meet them with fists up. And we are going to try to encourage one another to be the ones that expose our jugular and give people the benefit of the doubt. Good morning. I am John Halcyon, and welcome to this day. We like to start with a song. It starts with words that go like this. And if you are a friend of mine, your name might be Bob or Chris, but you could be here anyways and share joy inside you. And that's because we're all so great wherever you are in the zoo. It's love morning, love morning, love morning. Good morning, Gerbot. Yes, I added a little to our set here. I added a little picture of Grandpa Caleb. I thought that would be a nice addition to my office here. A little reminder of gratitude from Grandpa Caleb himself. Good morning, Kiri. Kiri says, I am grateful for the beeping function my car does to let me know my keys are in the ignition so I don't accidentally lock them in the car. Well, I'm glad that you averted crisis. So does that mean when you lock your car, do you do it with the door and not your key? Lisa does that, and I'm too afraid to do that because I want to make sure I lock my car with my keys so I don't do that. Although because my issue is like my new car has got one of those keyless ignitions. You just have to have the key on you. Or in the car. So like you could, I think pretty easily, if my keys are just in the passenger seat, for example, I could lock the door as I'm leaving. I don't know. I can't be trusted. Good morning, Woofy Woof. Who else has got some gratitude today? I'm also grateful that I am not locked out of my car right now. I am grateful for continued progress in the moving in of our home. We're planning on doing a little housewarming next weekend. I think we're ready. Well, almost ready. I'm grateful that we figured out the issue with our heater last night. It wasn't going on, and it was not a big issue, thank goodness. And I'm grateful for our property managers. They are been super responsive with all the issues on this house. We had a leak that had to be fixed. We've got somebody come in this morning to fix a thing in the tub isn't working. But it's like super quick. I think part of the reason they're attentive to the water issues is because those can turn into very expensive problems fast if mold hits. So they're awesome. Kiri's car is a 2003, so I'm pretty sure that was pre-keyless because my car was a 02, I think, my last car. Also sharing that most of the electronic components of the car are broken, and I have to do it that way. So it's great that electronic function still works. I see. Thank you, Hope. Yeah, I really love this. That's an AI generated portrait of Grandpa, but it looked just like him. It just put him in this cool cosmic suit. Darren, good morning. Darren says, I'm grateful to be alive and present. Me too. I'm grateful to be planning some holiday visits. Lisa's parents are going to be visiting in December, and we're planning when Amy and Asher are going to come visit over Christmas. Christmas is way more fun when you've got a kid there. I mean, Christmas is great, but like I think grown-up Christmas to me is a lot like Thanksgiving, where it's just you get together, you have traditional foods. I've actually been thinking lately, and I got to see if I'm really gonna really push this, but I'm contemplating trying to get the whole family on board with a no present Christmas, or only presents that are experiences or handmade or cards. Like just no expectation. If no gift is fine, you don't have to. No gifts are expected. That if you want to give a gift, no ordering off of Amazon. No, just like unless it's something that you're like, oh my gosh, I saw this, I couldn't help. Like you have to have this, but I don't want to feel like we exchange Amazon lists with one another and we buy things off each other's lists. I don't want to do that. Woofy Woof is grateful for San Diego Burners giving me a transformational social context to spend my time and doggy energy so I don't drive my 2 long sufferable leash holders insane while I'm in sabbatical. Well, that sounds nice. I am grateful for some, I have not done a bunch of in-person events in the last year. I did in January, we had the Love Ambassador meetup last year, but since then I haven't done anything. So we're doing that again this year in January. I'm excited about that. I'm also going to be doing a in-person day-long men's group in March that I'm excited about, and possibly a talk at Trilogy in December. That's what's tentative. It hasn't been official yet. So I'm excited about trying to, doing some more in-person things. And then I've been assisting Lisa as she's been doing retreats. And I really, really enjoy that. And maybe as I have a home that is much better for it, I hope to be doing some more entertaining and having friends over and maybe dinner parties or brunches, housewarmings. So I'm grateful for more planned physical connection. Wolfie Wolf says, come kick it at Collab. Actually, I think I do need to visit Collab because my friend Steven, he was helping me get rid of stuff in my old condo. And he asked me, should I get rid of all this old paint? I'm like, yes. And then realized that I don't need it, but it would be great to have some of that paint to do touch-ups at the old place. Otherwise, I got to rebuy that paint. So I might have to go by. And he dropped it off at Collab, so I might go by and say, hey, can I have some of this paint that I gave you? Can I take it back? But I would like to see the new Collab. I love that Collab exists. I love the San Diego Burner vibe and the community. And although I have not been fully identifying in my burnery way lately, like as I'm putting art up, my old place, I had quite a few. Most of my art was Burning Man related, and now I have some. Like, I don't know if you can see this picture behind me. That's me at Burning Man in front of the monster. Probably can't see it, but yeah, the percentage of my DNA that is covered in playa dust is less than it used to be. Anyone else have any gratitude they'd like to share? I am grateful to be meeting a realtor at my condo today to talk about plans for selling my condo. That's growing up and exciting. Grateful I got to see my dad yesterday and had an awesome talk with my dad. I believe I mentioned, I found this essay that I wrote in college when I was 20 years old and he was 51, about our trip that we took to Costa Rica. And I got to talk to him about it and share with him. And as I read it, I had an increased appreciation of him. In the essay, I was teasing him and making fun of him because he didn't want to have a backpacking experience. He wanted to have like a more plush travel experience. He wanted to be in comfort. He wanted to eat at nice restaurants. And I was like, oh man, that's that old people attitude. And as I was like, I have old people attitude now. I would way rather be comfortable and eat nice than stress about where I'm going to sleep and go to dingy rooms that are cheap and hostels. And I got old people attitude. So I got to tell my dad that I appreciated it, and it really made me love him more reading about him at my current age, And he said he was really cute. It was fun. It was nice to be able to tell him. Good to know, Woofy. Thank you. Gerbot says, I am grateful that I was able to navigate the American healthcare system and regain access to 90-day fills for my meds. Congratulations. You should get like a merit badge, or I think that means you're qualified to have be appointed in the cabinet for the president of the United States. I mean, that's sorry, I'm not going to go there today. Wolfie says, you're still burning hard to shine so bright. Love burn is old people accessibility forward. That's true. And, I'm actually last night I did spend some time, a student in a graduate program, one that was doing something about Burning Man or festivals, and she asked if she could interview me and sent me all these questions. And so I recorded last night me answering some questions, and it was fun to dip into Burning Man thoughts. I even though I don't have this burning desire to go to Burning Man events right now, I still am passionate about the 10 principles, and I'm passionate about gifting and radical self-expression specifically. Like the impact of those two principles on who I am and my path towards joy, the everything I've learned about authenticity and vulnerability and gratitude. Not everything, I take that back, but so many of my day-to-day practices and philosophies are still Burning Man influenced, even if I don't crave to be there as much as I used to. I think that's good though, right? I don't think the whole point of Burning Man is to transform the world, not to spend our lives preparing for Burning Man. Anybody else have any gratitude that they would like to share? I love that. Wolfie Wolf says, joy is the most asymmetric form of systemic subversion. I'm trying to remember, what other things am I excited about, or what am I grateful for? Grateful that we explored. There's a little pathway that we can see from our backyard, and Lisa and I walked it yesterday. There's a little point, like a little lookout point. So we walked out to the lookout point, and it felt like we were in high school. Because actually, it really did. Because the pathway, it kind of goes up and around like this ice plant, and there's like stamped ice plant. Everyone have ice plant where they live? I grew up on a canyon, kind of like where I live now, and ice plant is what you grow on canyon hillsides because it kind of is a fire retardant and easy to grow, and so a lot of my youth is playing in canyons, and ice plant was always a part of it. So this pathway through the ice plant totally reminded me of elementary school and junior high and high school. So I think I'm gonna take Lisa out there and make out. Whoopie Woof says, the real burn happens in default. And Gerbot, are we doing our favorite 10 principles? Mine is radical participation. Amen. Participation and immediacy, I think, are the ones that or are the concepts that are inspirational for me. Okay, yes, I need more of that. I need more of that. I need more of that. Yeah, Griva says, I grew up with ice plant on our hillside at home. Now, I don't know if you ever did this, but my friends and I, we would take our boogie boards, our old boogie boards, because it would destroy them. And we would, when it rained, we'd call each other, let's meet at so-and-so's house. We would wear old clothes because Ice Plant, if you know this, it stains. Like if you break it, the liquid will like stain brown your jeans. So we get our old clothes on, our old boogie boards, and we would slide down the Ice Plant. And it's pretty fun and it was crazy and awesome. And actually, little known fact, in fact, I wonder if I still could find it. My college essay that I wrote when I was applying for colleges was about ice plant sliding. And I wrote it as if I was trying to make it an Olympic sport. You know, you're supposed to be creative, show people that you're unique. Shelly says, good morning, Shelly. Shelly says, we used to break off a piece and draw on the concrete with it. Loved it. Ice Plant also saved my family home. That was probably 30 years ago. But there was a pretty big fire in the canyon behind our home. And it roared up the hillside. I can still remember like 30-foot flames, like way you could see them over the roof of our house. My dad got up on the roof and was trying to water down the shingles, and the fire department was yelling at him and screaming at him, and it burned down all of our trees that were on the outside of our pool. Like we had pool fence trees, burned down all the trees, covered everything in ash, but the Ice Plant was a huge block. Ice Plant plus fire department stopped the fire. And then after the trees, like the wind block was burned down, the next day we had this kind of glass. It's not glass, but I guess it was a glass fence, because the next day the wind knocked all the panels out and broke all the glass of the fence, because the fire took out the wind protection. Pro Ice Plant server. Well, I had to keep my amateur status, otherwise I would be ineligible for the Olympics. But yes, someday I do hope to go pro. Anyone else got some gratitude they'd like to share, or something in your world? I did have a talk. I won't get into the specifics, but I did have a talk with my dad yesterday about politics, and it's a really interesting time, because, and I think this is going to be a big part of life moving forward, is how do we keep our eyes open and not jump into panic? How do we keep our hearts open and our eyes open, but not assume that people or things are bad, and act when we can act, but not just live in a state of panic. Tough times, I think. Thanks, Gearbot. Yeah, it was a wild time. Like, I remember sitting on the curb once they got we didn't evacuate even. Like, we were, because there was another fire that was put out and the fire department had left, and then a spark hopped over from the other canyon part to below our canyon. And so it went up the side of our canyon super fast. And then the fire department, luckily they were in the neighborhood. They came back after, they were like a block away. And I remember sitting on the curb after we were kicked out of our house, and the people from down the street had come up, and they were like all freaking out. And I was like, that's my house. You guys are all scared. My house is the one that the fire, with all the hoses going through our side yard. Chris says, I'm grateful for a wonderful trip to the Pacific Northwest, seeing friends, family, and making new friends. I bet it was a beautiful time to be there. I'm glad you got you you seem to do it right when it comes to travel, Chris. I think your chartreuse lens that you see the world through seems to be inspiring. Any other gratitudes? I am grateful that we're getting close to Thanksgiving. Grateful for I'm grateful for the really peaceful and harmonious way that Lisa and I have been figuring out what we're going to put on our walls. We don't have tons of wall space, but there's some places where we put things, and we each have our own art. And it's easy. In the past, I have sometimes felt like I need to fight for my art to be on the wall, and both of us were just kind of like, which of any of this art would you be okay with this on the wall, and do you like some of these or the others? And if there's things, neither one of us has been pushing for art that the other one doesn't want, or because I think the art on the wall really can change the vibe. To be fair, when Lisa moved into my home, 75% of the art was portraits of me or pictures of me. Like I have lots of pictures of me in my office right now. It's just like, it's cool art and it inspires me. I've got another painting of myself that I'm going to put right here, but not in the house. Good morning, Celeste. Sorry to hear. And congratulations. Celeste says, I lost my job and just trying to stay positive and grateful for my family and health. That has got to be scary and frightening and uncertainty. And I think it's great to feel whatever you're feeling and to hold on to part of your awareness that you never know. Sometimes you've been spared. Sometimes it's a push to something that you didn't know. Sometimes we just never have the vantage point to know if something is good or bad until much, much later. So I send you so much good fortune and wonderful opportunities in your near future. All right, Celeste says, I'm an interior designer. I can help you with the art merge. Perfect. There's one big AI art that I made of Lisa and I like kissing in the clouds, and it's pretty big, and we were going to put it in our closet, and I reminded Lisa, I'm like, that's the picture that I had made when you moved in. I took down pictures of myself and I put that one up to try to make you feel like this was your home. And she was like, oh, well, now we can't ever get rid of that one. And to be fair, I'm not getting rid of much at all. I've boxes of art that maybe I'll put up in the future. But part of it is my art is either of me or Burning Man related, and now I'm less. It's less mandatory that everything in my house reminds me of Burning Man. I also want to be reminded of peace and serenity and creativity. Mostly, I think the house I want to be peaceful. But in this room, like I got Grandpa on the wall now. Got the love sign. Yeah. Well, wherever you are, I think we should have a hug and go off into our days and spread our gratitude and optimism. So wherever you are, give yourself a big old squeeze, appreciating this body, this moment, the opportunities that we have no idea what might be coming towards us. Let's just be open to possibility as we take a deep breath in and squeeze. On behalf of Grandpa Caleb and everybody here, thanks for being here for this Love Morning Gathering. I love you. Joyous is grateful for slow and steady, grateful for eventually get better with my timing, grateful for awareness and where I spend energy. My greatest current grateful y'all are still here. Grateful to see the new looks. Thanks, Joyous. Glad you were here, Celeste. Thanks for joining us, everyone. See you soon, Gerbot. If anybody wants info on the meetup here, actually it's not at this location, it's in Solana Beach, but it's in San Diego. I'll see if this will let me type it. Maybe not. You can always, if you didn't see the link there come through, just send me a message and say, I'm curious about this gathering in January. Although I do need to update that link because that's basically the info from last year, and I think it's going to be a little different this year. So, thanks for being here, Darren. Hi, Emil. Good morning. Emil says, I don't think I can make it to the gathering this year, but as a graduate, I highly recommend it. Thanks, Emil. I think I have a little quote of yours somewhere on my desktop that I was going to share. So thank you for that reminder. Look forward to seeing everybody soon. I'll be here tomorrow. Love you.